Juanita Gurle-Giron. Commissioner David Olivari Jr.
Here.
Commissioner Vince Howell.
Here.
Commissioner Barbara Casey.
Here.
Commissioner David Romero.
Here.
Commissioner Amber Davis. Thank you, Madam Chair. Roll call.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Duval.
A moment of silence for the community members that we've lost since our last meeting. And also that we have guidance to do the right thing as we have our meeting today and do what's right for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Casey.
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Howell.
Yes.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Commissioner Casey.
Yes.
Commissioner Olivari Jr.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Casey and a second by Commissioner Howell. Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of July the 17th, 2019.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes, and I did send in corrections.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Commissioner Howell.
Yes.
Commissioner Olivari Jr.
Yes.
Commissioner Casey.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Casey, a second by Commissioner Olivari Jr. Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the presentation, the Housing Authority Finance Report by our Financial
Was
Specialist.
there any public input?
I'm sorry, public input, we do not have anybody signed up for public input.
Thank you.
The next item is the presentation by our Financial Specialist, Natasha Martinez.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. In your packets this evening, you guys received the Housing Department's Revenue and Expenditure Report through the first month of this fiscal year, through July 31st, 2019. We're at the beginning of the year, so only 8% of our year has lapsed. For our revenues, dwelling rent, we've billed out $44,745. For operating subsidy that we've accrued, $64,385. And just an FYI, we did receive an email back after the budget was approved that they will be releasing our funds for operations. So yes, they will be releasing our funds that were held. So, well, not all of them, but the monthly subsidy that had been held. Yeah, so they will be releasing that. And then our other income, $1,349. Transfers in is the $1,250. So that puts us at 8%, exactly where we need to be. And usually mid-year is when we do our big transfer, when we do our CFP transfer. So that one will be 100% when we transfer the CFP in, once that's in the budget, or well, in the lock system to transfer over to the budget. In that budget to transfer over. And then for expenditures, our employee expenses, our year-to-date actuals are at $46,793. Our operating expenses are at $24,938. And that puts us approximately at 5% of our current budget to actuals.
Questions, comments? Thank you very much. Good job. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the Housing Director's Monthly Report. I'm reporting the housing maintenance staff prepared 5 units for move-ins, in the month of July. There were 8 move-outs in the month of July as well. Maintenance is working hard still on the unit turnarounds and the cutting of weeds and grass in all areas. Our waiting list manager continues to accept and process applications. Daily we are getting a little bit more applicants on our waiting list. We had, at the end of July, we had 53 applicants, so we have increased that. And 3 were processed for move-ins. On our 0 to 1 bedroom, that would be efficiencies on 1 to 1 bedrooms, we had 36 applicants. On our 2-bedroom, we had 9 applicants. On our 3-bedroom waiting list, we had 4 applicants. On our 4-bedroom waiting list, we had 3 applicants, and our 5-bedroom waiting list, we had 1 applicant. The housing managers also continue with their day-to-day operations and lease enforcement, special and annual inspections, and so on. For training, our staff continues to attend the monthly safety trainings put on by our HR risk management. We are still offering our smoke-free cessation classes to residents in public housing. And also I wanted to remind everybody that there are spots reserved for all the commissioners for the Lead the Way board training that is beginning on Friday at 1:00 p.m. at the Alfie Dow Hotel. And if you don't have the agenda anymore, I can get that too. I do have a copy of it here. And that's all I have for my director's report.
Okay, I have a question. On the applicants denied in general, you have 2, and then you have applicants denied for drug crime related with 1. Why was the other one denied for?
It could be for a variety of reasons. I don't have the exact reason. They could be either denied if they're either over the income limit. They could be denied if they have a bad background check, or if they have a debt owed to another housing authority. Those are some of the reasons they could have been denied.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions, comments?
Just have one. Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Padilla, I don't know if you can answer this or Human Resources, but how many staff are we down?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, and the Housing Authority?
Yeah.
Just the Executive Director.
That's all?
Yes.
But we're pretty much full then?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if somebody applies to work at housing as a city employee, do they ask for a New Mexico driver's license?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, that would be a question for the Human Resources because all hires go through the city for any hires at the housing as well.
Okay. Reason why, is there anybody can I ask a question on the Human Resources? Anybody here from there?
Madam Chair, members and commissioners, there is an application process and there are certain requirements, and I believe that there is, they must have a New Mexico driver's license.
But if they're
For
coming
any
from
hours.
another state, if they come from another state and they have a valid driver's license, and they just apply at the city, don't they have 30 days to get a New Mexico driver's license?
I'm not sure what the amount of time that they allow them to, the number of days, but within a certain period of time, they must have a New Mexico valid driver's license.
Right, okay. Because there was an applicant that applied and was denied because she didn't have a New Mexico driver's license, but wasn't told that, I don't know what the process is in regards to having a time frame to get a New Mexico driver's license.
And we need that in law.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have one question.
On the training this weekend, is that going to help towards one of the audit findings where there was basically suggested that we do that?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, I don't know if that's, part of the compliance review that we had. As far as I know, it doesn't hurt to attend the training, and I think they do cover quite a bit of information on this training. Like I said, if you need the agenda, I can provide that to you.
That should be a sole and separate issue. We're looking at the audit at the federal level versus the state level. Isn't it going to be Floyd who's going to be in charge of that?
It's actually put on, Madam Chair, Commissioners, by NARO, but there will be HUD representation there.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. The next item is the Commissioner's report.
Commissioner Romero.
Just a comment that, we get to go and look at one of those units, and you're right that, it does take a lot of work to get those back up, so thank the staff and all the hard work that you go through, and you guys that, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Commissioner Casey.
I have no comment.
Thank you. Commissioner Howell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to follow up on Commissioner Romero's question or statement, the housing apartment that I saw with you, how is that? Is there any progress on that?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, we have not started that yet because we have quite a few vacancies at this time. So what maintenance tries to do to get as many units filled by the end of the month, they work on the units that are a little bit easier to turn around. That one is going to take some time.
Right, yeah, because there's a lot of issues there.
Yes,
Yeah, okay. But you are going to be working?
yes, that's one of our targets.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Muley.
Madam Chair, Mr. Pacquiao, thank you for taking care of the weeds. It looks really nice.
It does.
On Navajo, you have a big building there. Is that vacant or?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, I believe you're talking about 400 Apache,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
building right there. That was once designated as a community building. At one time, we had, what was it, fair housing?
We had, excuse me, sorry, Madam Chair, Commissioners, we had fair housing housed there. The reason we don't open it up right now is because we need to make it accessible, and we'd have to earmark funds to redo that building as well. It's functional, but it is not it's not completely 504 accessible, so you can't go in a wheelchair into the bathrooms and such there. So we can't open it up for tenants' use.
Are you thinking of opening it up or just leaving it there? Or?
Commissioner, eventually, we'd like to open it up and have a community center in each of our areas. In our 5-year plan, we do address that we'd like to have community centers throughout our housing authorities since we are a scattered site. There's one there as far as the houses that got rehabbed back in 2001, the home ownership ones. We are actually able to designate a building there as well as a community center, and it's a big area building, and right now it's just a big area building. It's empty inside. It has the plumbing and all of that stuff, but it's just open inside. And because all of the lines and everything were redone for it just to be one structure instead of a duplex, they allowed us to designate that a common building as well. So that one, no, and then we have the one up in Bernalillo where Samaritan House used to be housed at, which also could be. So we have them throughout our development. Since we are a scattered site, we do have separate community areas throughout, which eventually we'd like to be able to earmark money to make them accessible for our youth, or any sort of programs, that kind of stuff, to at least be accessible for us to do, or even to do research for our tenants and have like outsourced offices so our housing managers can just meet them there instead of having to bring them all the way back to our office, like just different things that we can do. But as of right now, we don't have the money that we have. We're using it for what we need, not what we want, kind of.
And where does that money come from? If you do?
They're all, what it's called is the capital, our capital fund. So that money comes based off of vacancies, based off of occupancy, based off of how many units we have. And right now they're funding us, if you look at the budget, those separate tabs that we have for capital funds, those are where that money comes from. Our operating fund is currently getting funded, I think, at 70%. We are never really going to ever hit that 100%, and that's why 20% of our capital fund actually gets transferred to our operations, is because of the fact that we'll probably never be at 100%.
But yeah, back in the, maybe I don't know how long ago, you guys have tenant services like daycare.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, we used to have a resident council,
Right.
but we didn't have daycare. But there was an organized resident council, but there was a lot of issues that happened with that. So currently, we do not have a resident council.
Any of the municipalities do have that? Tenant services?
Commissioners, they do have tenant services. There's a lot of different services because there's a lot of different, what happens is like your ROS coordinator, your FSS coordinator, they're positions that aren't necessarily just tenant-based lease enforcement management positions. They're actually like positions for certain tenant outreach services, and they're all separate grants that you have to apply for. So the first 2 years when you have these programs, the entity has to actually pay for that person solely. And then after those 2 years, if you prove that the program is efficient, then you can actually apply for the money. There's no guarantee that you actually get the money to support the program. So you're kind of funding a program that you don't know if you're ever going to actually get funding for. So it's a play in soft money. It's something that we can do once we get more money, once we get more houses up, once we're taking little, we're like a snail in this race that'll eventually get to that finish line, but right now,
But you're trying to do it, right?
yes.
Yes. And the tenant services, back when I was talking to some people out of Boston and Spandrella, they're telling me that the tenant services, that they would pay the tenants to cut weeds and stuff like that. Did you guys have that kind of services? No?
Again, that's money that we don't have. We can't pay with something we don't have, so,
But did they have it here in town?
no.
No? Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioners, the next item is executive session.
Do you have any for executive? I need a motion to do it.
Madam Mayor, I move that we adjourn.
Travis?
Second?
Commissioner Uriarte Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Howell,
Yes.
Commissioner Casey,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Casey, a second by Commissioner Uriarte Jr. Thank you, Madam Chair. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Good job.